A pit stop at the self sphere. Let's take a few steps back and look at self-organization. It starts with the word self. It may take quite a long time to figure out if there exists something like a self inside of you. It's beyond the scope of this series, so for now we assume there is a self. When we use the word self-organization, it suggests that the self needs organization. And that is exactly what is coming next. Because if you want an organization that is self-organized, you need individuals who are themselves organized. We promised to make a pit stop at 3 points on the journey from outer space to quark level. The first being the sphere of self. The relation with the environment and others will follow next. We first look at how we visualize things. George Box once said, "All models are wrong," and later he added, "but some are useful." With this in mind, the self, others and the environment are visualized as spheres in 3D. The reason is that if we simplify people into an object in 2D, it would be an oversimplification. A bit like the quote attributed to Einstein. Everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. But when we show a model, it's hard to constantly show it in 3D, so we take a slice out of that rather complex sphere and present it to you as a circle which fits nicely into sociocracy because it uses circles a lot. Please keep in mind during this series that when you see a 2D circle, it is a simplification of a complex 3D sphere. So, if we look at self, enhance it a bit and plot it in 2D, we have the assumption that there are only 3 basic things to do in life. We have to lead or direct ourselves, we have to operate or act, and we have to sense. These should be in reasonable balance with each other. So if you lead yourself, you should also operate and sense. If you operate, you should also sense and then lead. And if you sense, you should lead and operate. In this way, the circle is always closed. You may also ask yourself, what is leading me? Well, of course, that differs from person to person and from time to time. But here we assume yourself is led either by attraction of something or repulsion of it, or both at the same time. You could also say by the things you love or hate, or by feeling pain or gain. Yourself operates by saying, doing or showing things consciously or unconsciously. And yourself senses by hearing or seeing or feeling based on certain thresholds. To give this model a name, we call it the self-operating system, or SOS.